Hello and welcome back. This is Kylie Savage, Psychic Medium, with your weekly Oracle card reading. And this is from the 16th of March to the 22nd of March 2019. We have 4 cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. And we have 1 card from Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle. So our first card is Higher Power. Our second card is Breathe. Our third card is Mending. And our fourth card is Not For You. And the card from Rebecca Campbell's deck is the same card that we had last week, which is Leap. Okay, so last week we had the Fire Fairy, and we had a message from Spirit about being given extra encouragement and energy and also illumination on our situation, and cleansing and letting go and making way for things. And definitely Spirit was talking about was an action week. And this week, like with a Law of Balance, we could be go, 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 and this week now again the message says pause. And we're being encouraged to slow down with that Law of Balance. We have times for movement and action and motivation, momentum, and we also have times we need to pause and reflect. And I just want to say that my heart goes out to the people of Christchurch, and that I was very saddened to hear about what happened this past Friday. And I'd ask that Spirit and the angels be with everyone who has suffered throughout this disaster, and all the souls who have transitioned through this tragedy. And I ask that God and the angels be with everyone who is going through such a sad and awful time. And I believe both Australia and New Zealand are in deep grief over what's happened. And I thought it's very easy to want to engage in hate for the person responsible or people responsible. And it's, you know, it was just such a shocking, awful thing. And it's easy to get angry and want to retaliate. And yet I kept hearing, let your hate go, let you go deeper into your love. And I can't remember where I've heard that, or I'm sure it must be a poem or something. I've been searching, looking for it, but I just keep feeling like when we are faced with awful tragedies such as this, which, you know, do inspire us ourselves to hate, that really there are opportunities to love deeper, to have more and more compassion for ourselves and for others. And if we do engage in hating or retaliating or wanting revenge, then we're just perpetuating the very things that made us mad. So I really love to see that higher power is here. I feel like, you know, it's in these moments that we really do turn to our faith, and that we can just trust in a higher power even more deeply, and that we can go deeper into prayer and meditation and our conscious contact with God or a goddess as we understand them, and that's what it's going to take to guide and lead us through something like this. And I know from having my own experiences in a spiritual program that it took a lot of unlearning for me. And when you mention the God word, a lot of people have very adverse reactions to that. There's a lot of baggage with that word. So I do encourage you to seek your own higher power and to find a word or a label or a feeling that works for you, and to build your relationship with your higher power. And to remember that, you know, we're in God and God is in us. And my God is definitely not a God of religion, although I don't, you know, I believe in being very tolerant for religion, and that there is a lot of wisdom in religion. Yet my God is the God of my spiritual path, and more probably a goddess. And it's what, you know, it's the thing that helps me to keep going. And I live my life one day at a time, and I'm trusting and having faith in my own higher power. And I really do believe that we can come through all of this, and we can come through this wiser, stronger, braver and better. And breathe is in the next right action position. So what it's saying is, wherever you are in this week, whatever you're facing, whatever the challenge is, it seems counterintuitive, yet putting a pause on things, going into meditation can actually be the best right action for you to take. You can actually receive a lot of wisdom and be able to, have a reset and come back to whatever it is you're facing with fresh eyes, a new perspective, stronger intuition, better energy, and you can find your way through whatever it is that you're facing from a better position. So this card is encouraging us to definitely meditate however we do that, and to get some clarity this week. Now, mending, I really feel like mending is connected to last week's reading, as in the fire, and we had the fire and the death card and raven. So that was a cleansing and a transformation. So whatever came up for you last week, perhaps, there are some issues that you looked at and you realise you may be carrying around some resentment, some grudges. Perhaps it's, relating to the Christchurch incident. And there is a lot of hate in the world today. And all that we can do is take care of our own energy and our own vibration and clean up our own side of the street. So mending is really about making amends. Sometimes the biggest amends we need to make is to ourselves. We really need to forgive ourselves. Being human is definitely not easy. You may find in meditation, you may have to dig a little bit deeper and find out, what are you really carrying around? What are your resentments? What is holding you back? Where have you yet to forgive and let go? What issues are you struggling with and hanging on to? Where do you need to mend the fences? Is there someone who is out of your life, and probably for good reason, yet you could write them a letter and never send it? Is there some energy that you need to clean up between you and other people? Looking at your business, how have you been in business? Has there been an issue? Do you owe money? With your neighbour, are you not getting along so well with your neighbour? Is there anything you can do, even indirectly, which often is the best way, to clean up your side of the street and make amends and mend the relationship? If there's anything you can do this week, trust me, mending is part of that clearing out and letting go. Mending and making amends releases us. It releases us on so many levels. If you feel really compelled about the Christchurch incident, write a letter about it and then maybe perhaps burn it. Get your feelings and your frustrations out. And if you've, look at any of your own prejudice and bias and work on those. Write a letter to anyone you feel you may have harmed with your prejudice or bias. And I believe we all have prejudices and we all have bias to different degrees. It's very much about the culture and society that we've been raised in and our family core values. And even though they may be good, they may also be inherently biased. So let's look in meditation and connecting with our higher power. Let's look and reflect upon the way we live our life and our thoughts and our actions and our words. And could we be hurting someone else by them? Could we be hurting ourselves? Could we just even do a little bit better? Could we bring a little bit more peace into our own life and therefore our own families and our own communities and our own countries? The world desperately needs more peace. It needs more people feeling satisfied and happy and content in their lives and not trying to hurt other people or engaging in power struggles and feeling like, they need to take their power from other people and hurt other people. We need people who are stepping into the fullness of their being, who really understand their connection to the divine, and they understand inherently their own divine power, their own wisdom and knowing, and that they understand that we are all the one being. And if when I hurt my neighbour, I hurt myself. So even though it's difficult mending, making amends, and you may not need to make a direct amends, you can make amends to people who have passed as well. A spirit often come through and make amends through a medium such as myself, and it's never too late, and it can definitely be done, and we do it the best that we can at the time. We don't have the right to hurt other people through making amends, so often it's better to write out the resentments, get everything off your chest, then perhaps share with a trusted friend or counsellor what how you feel you may have hurt someone else before you make a direct amends. I strongly encourage that. Having learnt through my own painful personal experience that even making amends can be hurtful to people. We don't have the right to clear our conscience at the expense of someone else's feelings. So these are really big spiritual topics and lessons this week. This is a lot to take in, and I understand it's a little bit heavier. Now, not for you, I was quite surprised when this came out. So it looks like a bit of a spanner in the works, and yet what I really feel like it's saying is when we're in reflection, when we're in meditation, perhaps we are striving for some goals and some dreams and things that we want right at this time, and they're not going to be the best thing for us. It's saying here, being opposite higher power, that and as Colette says a lot, what's meant for you won't go past you. We need to trust that if we're pushing and trying to get something, bring it into being, it's something that we really want and it's just not happening. Perhaps we need to listen to Spirit and listen in meditation and pausing and reflection. We need to understand that it's not for us. Perhaps it's just not for us at this time, or not for us in this current form. And perhaps if we got it, it wouldn't really make our situation any better. So we need to trust and we need to let go. And as you said, what's meant for us won't go past us. Allow Spirit to bring whatever it is that we want to us in a better way at a better time. And trust that that's going to happen. Now, leap. The Spirit is still encouraging us to take those leaps of faith, and I feel like it's talking about in this spread, it's talking about take the leap of faith and go deeper into our relationship with Spirit, with our own higher power. Trust that, if it's right for us, our spiritual path doesn't have to make sense to anyone else, and we need to grow into who we are, who we truly are, and letting go of things and meditating more and taking time out and reflecting and making amends. Some people find that very, very upsetting because you're holding up a mirror for them. You're making changes in your life, and other people perhaps have put you into a box, and they don't want to make changes in their life, and they don't want you to change. So we need to just trust and take those leaps of faith and know that we're being encouraged to grow the way that we're meant to, the way that's best for our highest good and the highest good of all. And we need to know that even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's difficult, even if it's scary, that's where we need to go. That's where we're being led. And we need to trust that, loving our enemies is the right way. It's the right thing to do. And we need to have strong boundaries. We need to not accept unacceptable behaviour. We need to stand up for people who are being hurt. We need to address, wrongs and make sure they're righted. Yet, we need to trust if our way of life is a peaceful way of life, then that's what it's right for us. And we need to trust that things will unfold the way that they're meant to. And even if it doesn't make sense to other people, and other people are, there's a tide pushing us, and other people are encouraging us to go a different way and telling us how to think and what to do, we don't have to follow. We can take these leaps of faith, we can trust our intuition, we can trust our heart, and we can make our own decisions. We can decide what's right for us. I'm going to leave you with all of that, but if anybody wants to talk, has any comments, I'd really love to hear from you. Like I've said before, I'd love for you to like the videos, comment on them, click like and subscribe and get notified so that each week you'll know when these readings come out. If you'd like to get in touch with me, I do face-to-face readings from Picton, from Forester Wisdom, and the best way to contact me is email, and it's Kylie Savage, all one word, psychic, Kylie Savage Psychic, all one word, at gmail.com. Send me an email and let me know how you went with last week and how you're finding things this week. Thank you so much.